Funny and Funny Shaker are the two guests we welcome on Buy or Sell to take all your questions. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us today. Let me go across and welcome Mr. Vaidyanathan from Coimbatore with his first stock question. Sir, go ahead. Tell us, how can we help you? What's your stock?
I have 87 shares of Seshagova bought at 339 in June.
Okay.
Now the share is doing very badly. Now, how long will it take to make some profit on this?
Have you been following the news flow on Seshagova, sir?
Yeah, I've been, some news about Vedanta and so many other things.
All right.
But I'm totally new to the stock market. Somebody told me to buy this, so I bought it.
All right, so first of all, I think this is perhaps a good example of why you should never go ahead and buy a stock just on a tip without enough research. But having said that, Seshagova has been particularly plagued with a lot of negative news. There's been a ban from Karnataka government on Seshagova for transport and export of iron ore. Then there's also some negativity built around its Orissa mines, which Seshagova has decided to close. Let me just go across to Hitesh and find out what his views are. Hitesh, how's it looking? It's been weak. Do you think it's best to get out of this stock, book your losses at this current time?
The charts of Seshagova are currently bearish. Seshagova saw a high of around 495 in April 2010, and since then it's been declining, showing a pattern of lower tops and lower bottoms. 307 was an important support, and we've breached that support. So in the short term, there could be more weakness ahead. My suggestion would be to exit this counter currently, as it's very bearish right now.
Funny, I've also seen about Ambriya Hogar joining us from Bangalore. Ambriya, go ahead. What's your stock?
Yeah, I'm from Bangalore. Actually, I took IDBI shares around 45. That is on 171 per share. No, can I hold it or can I exit that one? I want to know that.
Alright, what's your holding period? Because banking as a pack has gone down, so IDBI is not bucking the trend. That's about it.
Sorry?
How long can you hold it?
Yeah, I want to sell, but if you see the correct market, it is down 171 I took, but now it is around 158 or 56 something.
Alright, so you're worried about the short-term fall that you've seen in IDBI Bank. Ambriya, what I was mentioning was that the entire banking pack has gone down. There have been a lot of negative news flows surrounding the sector, but the big one is, of course, the liquidity crunch. IDBI Bank has raised both its deposit and lending rates by 100 basis points, one of the most aggressive hikes that we've seen yesterday. Funny, how would you map? Bankex is down about 7%. IDBI has melted a little bit more, 13% or so, but it's still not one of the biggest losers in the banking space over the last 1 month. Where do you think it's headed from here?
I think so as well. If you speak on a relative basis, IDBI is still looking stronger than the overall banking pack per se. IDBI consolidated during the first half of 2010 and then broke out above 140 levels. So overall it's still showing a pattern of higher tops and higher bottoms from March 2009. Since the investor has already invested, I would advise him to keep a stop loss of 138 and have a potential target of around 195 to 200 in the next 3 to 6 months. So yes, compared to the other banking stocks, IDBI is still looking relatively stronger.
Relatively stronger, hold on, but don't expect spectacular gains in any of the banking counters, especially the mid-cap banking names. That's the general sense I'm getting from what Hitesh and Funny are saying. So 180 plus is the time, Ambriya, for you to exit from that counter. Very short break. We start with the next stock question. Hi Shanu, go ahead. What would you like to know? What's your stock?
I am a senior citizen. I have invested in September 2010 200 shares in Cox & Kings at the rate of 640. It's fallen down after that, and I really do not know what to do. Sure.
All right. Did you buy it with a long-term perspective?
So to at least get out and not have those losses.
Okay. Cox & Kings 546, that's where the stock is. There's really nothing to worry about as of now fundamentally on the company, at least if I look at the last quarter numbers. Funny, what's been a damper on the stock? Is it just the overall market sentiments that's playing havoc with the stock, and that's the reason why it's come down? What's your call? And, what are the levels she should look at to exit this portfolio? If we agree that, yes, this is not the sort of stock she should be in, then where should she get out of the counter?
Yes, I agree with Funny. In the charts of Cox and King are not looking too great right now. It does seem to have a negative bias for the time being. It's already down 17% from the level that the investor invested in. But since she's already invested, I would advise her to hold on to it with a stop loss of 468. And if you see prices reach in the levels of around 675 to 700 in the next 6 to 12 months, that would be a very good point to book your profits in this counter and move on to something more defensive or something which is more trending at that point in time.
Alright, so just to recap Hitesh's levels, which I think, ma'am, you need to keep a very close eye on. You have to have a stop loss at 468 if you do decide to continue to hold the counter, and if the price reaches 700 in the next 6 to 12 months, and remember the company has been eyeing a big acquisition. If it does manage to come close to an acquisition, there will be some momentum in the stock, some positive development in the stock. You should book your profits at 700 level and be out of Cox and King. Next up, we've just got time to take one last SMS. This one has been posted by Anand from Bangalore. He says he's got 100 shares of Coutons bought at 132 rupees. He can hold on for 1 year, but what should he do at the current market price? I just am unable to understand, Funny, on why people keep stocks where there's just so much visible negative news. You know that the company is going through trouble time. It's not, it's defaulting on its loans to banks. It's got downgraded by, rating agencies. What do you do? 132, I understand that his investment has been less than half now, but is there any hope for a recovery on Coutons? Most retail investors miss out is just keeping a strict stop loss for themselves or just having the stomach to digest a loss. Does that become even more relevant in a case of mid-cap stocks as Funny has outlined, or do you think a stop loss is extremely critical even for just the entire gamut of stocks that you have, and what about Coutons?
I think a stop loss is like a red light. I mean, you need to follow it. I mean, if you keep breaking red lights down the road, chances are that 5 lights or 10 lights, nothing will happen. But somewhere down the line, you're definitely sure to have an accident. So similarly, a stop loss is something that you need to have across all counters, across all sectors, and that's what makes for a disciplined trader or an investor. Coutons is something, a counter where clearly bears have taken control right from January 2008, where it's a high of 1100. It's just been declining, and it didn't even recover in this entire bull run that we saw in 2009, 2010. So my advice would be to exit this counter at current levels. You could definitely head lower. Right now the trajectory is lower, and there is nothing in the charts which show that some kind of a bounce back is on the way. So my suggestion would be to exit this counter and stay out of this counter.
Alright, so that's a convincing sell coming in on Coutons. You could look for just a small bounce back or a momentum play, but otherwise not really a counter to stick around with. Hitesh and Funny, thank you very much for joining in today on Buy or Sell. Hitesh, I'll come to you first for your disclosures and any picks that you might have in this market.
We've got a buy on HCL Info, currently trading around 100 with a stop loss of 97 and a target of 106. Similarly, we've got a buy on ACC, currently around 1050, 1060 levels with a stop loss of 1010 and a target of 1100. And finally, we've got a sell call on Canara Bank to short it at 660 currently with a stop loss of 700 and a target of 615. And by way of disclosures, Trendtech Consultants, me or any of our clients could have holdings in any of the counters discussed today. Thank you.